the NA Cup. So if you guys want to hang out for that, you can see the really sick pictures I took. They're also available on my Instagram, which I don't have a link for in chat, so just got to go find me on Instagram. Chickenman, I see. Anyways, I hope you guys got your votes in. We have a lot of heavy voting for our Protoss player, who I would say is a bit of the underdog here to the more favored Terran. In the upper right-hand corner, the German Terran, the largest of Gabes. It is, of course, Mouse Sports HeroMarine. He was looking very nice at Home Story Cup. Extremely entertaining. Honestly, him casting with oh God, who was he casting with that he was given a ton of crap to? Was it Baby Marine? Oh, hilarious. His opponent in the lower left-hand corner, the King of Quebec, the ultimate Quebecois StarCraft player. It is DisK, representing Apprentice Esports. Absolute god-awful French accent. You're welcome. PVT, things are looking fairly normal. DisK did go for the Cybercore before the Nexus. Maybe a little bit worried about HeroMarine proxying or something like that. Or just worried about HeroMarine's Reapers. Reaper's pretty strong. Yeah, Flapjack, theater work is like, it's pretty killer. I mean, the thing about it is in the exact same way that streaming is something you have to want to do. Even if you're a full-time streamer, it's very rare to be a full-time streamer that's able to just work normal hours, essentially. Like, when I was a full-time theater person, my job required that sometimes, yeah, I had to work over 100 hours that week. Like, that happened, you know? It was, and I was just getting paid salary. So it was, I had to work however much I had to work, and that was it. And I had to love it, and I had to want to do it, because there was no way I would have been able to get those things done without those hours. I had to want to get it done, you know, like it has to be part of it. It's the same thing with streaming, where it's like, you have to want to do it. It's kind of, I don't know, it's all very similar in terms of the entertainment business. So as much as I did love theater, I found I was just busy all the time. And it's a problem I've struggled with streaming as well, where, you know, I love casting these, but it's literally like 11 hours casting on Mondays. And if I didn't love doing this, I absolutely wouldn't do it. There'd be no purpose, there'd be no point in me doing this if I wasn't enjoying it. I'm literally taking an extra day off of work in order to do this. It's like kind of a big hit to the financials. But on the plus side, that's made me cook more. I made a delicious pork roast last night. Oh my god. I've never made a pork roast like that before. So good. I have so many leftovers in my fridge right now. I still have mac and cheese leftovers that I made a few days ago. Now I've got pork roast, mac and cheese, or mashed potatoes. I've got asparagus. Dude, I'm cruising. I feel like a real adult human being with all these leftovers in my fridge. Slowly. I'm glad you do. I'm glad you do. Those hiking trips have been so much fun. Got some excellent views. Oh, are we going to see an excellent view of some probes dying? Yes, we are. Just barely the tail end of that one. This wouldn't mind being as annoying as possible, because DisK is on the other side of the map going for what looks to be a charge lot all in. I don't think any gas has been mined for a while here. Charge lot's going to dive into the main base. DisK also going to hit the natural. There's not a lot here for DisK, though. Oh, and not all the zealots are coming. But a lot of the Marines are in the main base. No stim here for HeroMarine. These Marines are not nearly as good against the Zealots as you want them to be. SCV's coming off the line. 8 of them going down already. HeroMarine is held in the natural, this tank, doing God's work from the backside. And DisK is just going to tap out. All right. Well, that was unfortunately a very quick game 1. I certainly didn't hype that one up at all. Some bad casting by me. But at least I wasn't talking about popcorn that time, so. Well, yeah, quick one there. HeroMarine with the solid defense. Getting some worker kills off the back of it, too, to make DisK's life even harder. Do I have any up-close pictures of large bears? No, blank 444. I do not. I do not. Thankfully, I have not run into any bears yet. I did at one point see a bear from very far away. Like, I was on one hill, and it was, like, way on another. It was about this big. Honestly, even smaller. The only reason I knew it was a bear is because it was so far away. The little black spot that was, like, moving around is, like, it couldn't be anything else. There's only one thing that's that big that lives out there. So that was a little bit scary. Just the idea that bears were that close. But bears also have a big territorial area, so I kind of knew there wasn't going to be another bear near me. We were, if anything, in that bear's territory. Well, let's get into game 2. Speaking of bears, I believe this man's at least the size of a grizzly, perhaps a polar bear. Maybe like a combination of the two if they morph together like an Archon. The lower left-hand corner, I know directions, of Ancient Cistern, it is HeroMarine. And in the upper right, we of course have Apprentice Esports, DisK. DisK going for a cheeky play in that last one, and it didn't quite work out for him. But it's tough when you're up against somebody as strong and solid as Gabe. What do? You gotta bust out some of those NA strats, you know? You gotta bust them out. But for DisK, it's gonna be like climbing a mountain. Which I did earlier this week. I'm bringing it back to hiking while we're in this nice early game here. Yeah, I went to a place called Sourdough Mountain, and I got some beautiful views. Pictures available on my Instagram. Again, can't link it in chat. I mean, I don't have a link available in chat right now, so you guys are gonna have to go look for it. Some beautiful views, but man, that was the hardest hike I've ever been on. Is 5,200 feet of elevation. We ended up hiking 13 miles. Oh my god. I thought I was gonna die. Honestly, the hardest part, it wasn't even that it was like that crazy hard. If it had been less steep going down, I would have been fine. So we walked around at the top a lot, probably like 2-3 extra miles of just walking around up at the top and looking for good views and checking things out. I felt fine on the way down, but it was like almost 6 miles down from the top. And oh my god, HeroMarine. It's so rude to dance with the Adept like this. Reaper just showed up. The way down was so steep that my knees were absolutely killing me by the end. And if it had just been like a little less steep going down, if there had been like a gradual way down that was 7 miles instead of 6, I think I would have been fine. Tired, sore, but fine. It's just, you know, you get older, those knees, they start hurting. I got a lot of weight I'm carrying here, and each step is just, the knees don't like it when they have to go that far every step for miles and miles. But we have a blink opener here from DisK, much more standard Looks like 2-gate blink as the Robo's coming up. Should see a third base relatively soon. Reaper continuing to be annoying, but it will no longer bother DisK. HeroMarine, I was going to say Widowmine drop. Is there a Widowmine out? There is. There's 2. Okay, they're just hiding around a little bit. It's a couple Widowmines. HeroMarine's going to try to go be annoying. This is extremely standard stuff, this game. I like that DisK brought out the cheeky strat in game 1. Maybe make HeroMarine play a little bit safer. I don't actually think that'll work against HeroMarine. Against some players, they'd absolutely play safer game 2 because of game 1. HeroMarine's like, no, I will just do my build. My build is optimal. And I think I am good at defending everything. So I can just defend whatever silly North American strategies he tries with my normal build. I do not need to change anything. And I mean, he's kind of right. Let's be real. Let's be real. It's the beauty of HeroMarine. Does that optimal build. Does Widowmine drop? Ooh, so close. And yet so far. Widowmine tries to get out. Medevac should be able to get out of there. But the Widowmines will go down. Just a couple of probes that time for DisK. He gets into the forge, a couple more gates. Was that double forge? That is double forge, baby. Okay. It's fun. A little double forge action. Ooh, this last time I went hiking, though, I did see a deer. The deer was very, very unafraid of people. Like, she did kind of move away from us, but it was very chill. And I took some really nice up-close pictures of this deer. She was a sweet little deer. I should have posted a picture of the deer. Damn. I actually have a bunch of animal pictures saved on my computer. I should pull out at some point. HeroMarine is actually very close to the Stalker army. Ooh, nice pickoff on the medevac, though. And Stalkers have blink available, so they will also grab, I think, a Marine and then dip on out of there. Nice move there from DisK. He's finding little bits of value. Sees that there's no third command center as well. With this build from HeroMarine, you wouldn't really expect it just yet. Does mean HeroMarine's going to have a strong push in a little while. DisK definitely needs to be prepared for. That 1-1 being so early for DisK, though, that should be done by the time HeroMarine pushes out. That's going to be a big boon to DisK's army, but will it be enough? Charge should be done as well. DisK needs to get those charge lots out, as many as possible. It's funny, this is actually very reminiscent of our first game of TVP of the day that we saw from a couple of lower level players, but we see HeroMarine hitting at a much more crisp timing. And that means that DisK, there's no way DisK can get out like Colossi or anything, which is what we saw in that first match. However, DisK will be able to get that 1-1 done. And these upgrades are timing out really, really nicely for the Protoss. Shield battery's about to finish. There is, of course, that one siege tank. A couple of Widowmines here as well. And that anti-armor missile as a potential, but it looks like HeroMarine's going to at least pull back a little bit. Oh, he's joining up with more units, though. Building a third CC behind this as well as a couple extra barracks. Depth keeping an eye on things. DisK feeling much more confident with 1-1 and charge completely finished. Getting into that Templar Archives now, but it is not quite done yet. Ooh, those are some nice force fields. HeroMarine going to lift up a few units and get them out of there. A Widowmine connects beautifully center mass of those Zealots. That is really painful. So many yellow Zealots. Excuse me. So many yellow Zealots. Super Shield Battery turns on to try to keep these back units alive. Oof, with the Widowmines. Couple auto turrets going down as well instead of the anti-armor missile. More force fields here from DisK. They're very nice, but DisK lost a lot of Zealots there. 22 Zealots have already died. And those are expensive. HeroMarine taking better trades for sure, and he's going to go ahead and take his third base now. Of course, DisK has been mining a little bit more. Just a little bit here and there. Doesn't look like HeroMarine can push through, but HeroMarine is up a lot of army supply, and as that starts to join up, it's going to be harder and harder for DisK to hold on, especially with this style of play, this heavy Zealot style. And now the upgrades are about to be evened up as HeroMarine's +1 armor is finishing here. Usually with this style that DisK is going for, you need to just have a ton more units than your opponent. And that's just not the case here. DisK is supposed to be the one up in army supply with Heavy Zealot. Oh, man. And the boost into the main base. HeroMarine going to control this ramp. And there's nothing to stop that. These Archons are going to have to try to push through, but Zealots are just so bad here. A recall of half the units into the main base. I love that move so much, and it was the right move. HeroMarine's got to leave. Those one of mine still getting good hits, but HeroMarine forced to get out of there without really getting too much damage done. He killed much. So good defense from DisK. That was a scary moment. But we still have a bit of a problem for the Protoss. Now he is about to go up 2 upgrades once again. So by the next engagement, DisK should be way ahead in those upgrades. Does he have Storm? He does not. So these are just Archons. There's no splash damage in the army, really, to speak of here for DisK. Yeah, the Archons technically do splash damage, but I'm really surprised there was no Storm. I feel like a couple of High Templar here would keep HeroMarine back. He would be forced into Ghosts, and then by then, you will be getting those Colossi out. I'm just very surprised not to see even a couple of High Templar. Imagine a couple of feedbacks here on these medevacs would be super juicy. But HeroMarine's going to hit from 2 positions at once. He's not going to be able to move into the main, but he's forcing these units to stay here. DisK does have a lot of stuff down here to protect this 4th base, though. Army supply is a lot more similar than it was earlier on. I think DisK is okay here. This is looking decent for DisK. 3rd base of HeroMarine is set up, but if DisK gets this 4th base saturated, he should be good. Definitely needs to get some more probe production going, though. And once again, he's in position. HeroMarine's still going to be as annoying as possible with this little army, though. Picking off pylons here and there. Stutter stepping against the Zealots, just finding little bits of damage. The force fields, again, very nice. And now the Archons can bust through in case DisK wants to keep chasing, forcing another stim. With a couple more force fields, trimming off some more Marines and Marauders. And still holding on over on this side. It looks like he wants to actually push this away. He's going to take down that Raven finally. Ooh, and he's going to pick off some medevacs. He gets 1. Does he have another blink? He does. Gets 2. That one full of units. And DisK pushing both sides back from HeroMarine, taking that army supply lead. HeroMarine maybe in a little bit of trouble. Still no ghosts coming out, which I feel like could be so helpful here as he takes this 4th base, but a couple of EMPs on this army would be very sick, especially on the Archons, of course. DisK feeling confident, wants to keep pushing. Doesn't have a ton of probes behind this, but if he can stop this 4th base from going down, it might not matter. HeroMarine going to get surrounded, but no, he pulls back. Really nice movement of this army from HeroMarine. Not getting caught, but as I say that, oof, big splash damage on those Marines and Marauders. The force field's doing wonders there for DisK. And this 4th base is going to go down. I don't think there's any more force fields, so it's going to be a little bit harder for DisK to run away. Looks like he's just going to turn and take the fight, feeling confident like he can push through. I think HeroMarine might have enough to hold on here, but it is really dicey. There's a Colossus out now as well, just splash damaging from the back. It looks like it even has thermal lance, this one singular Colossus. There is a bunker back here to fall back to. HeroMarine, though, he is fighting for his life here. Looks like DisK might be able to take this game. DisK has a 5th base on the way back at home. He's got 3-3 coming up. This 3rd base is very much so in trouble. In fact, now that the SCV is all left, it's going down. And I think DisK could probably just back up right now, macro a little bit, get a couple more Colossi out. There's not going to be anything HeroMarine can do about it. DisK is going to keep going, though. This does worry me a little bit, because if HeroMarine starts pushing back, I don't think it's going to happen, though. I'm saying there's a big if right here. The natural has been lifted, and as more Zealots come in, the Stalkers blink backwards. So many SCVs going to die, even if this gets cleaned up for DisK. HeroMarine's just not going to have anything behind it. And DisK, our king of Quebec, is taking game number 2, tying up the series. We knew he could do it. We knew he could do it, and there it is. Honestly, the defense from DisK in that game was sick. It was on point. HeroMarine was hitting in multiple spots, and it looked so dicey. DisK was down in army supply, and I thought for sure that we were going to see HeroMarine find some damage on one side, maybe trim off some units, maybe get that 4th base, and it just didn't happen. DisK constantly deflecting and defending. And I gotta say, those force fields did absolute wonders. The force fields on the bottom side, while he was defending that fourth, every time HeroMarine would come in, a couple of force fields would cut off a few units, and the Zealots and Archons would just smash them back. And that made that force so much weaker every single time. DisK didn't really have to worry about it too much. And I think that allowed him to just feel comfortable on 4 bases. Eventually, he took a good enough fight where he could push for the win and take a game off of the big man. In the upper right-hand corner of altitude, it is Mouse Sports HeroMarine. Now tied up here, going to game 3 against our Canadian Protoss in the lower left-hand corner, DisK. But yeah, the force fields also later on were very, very useful as HeroMarine fell back into the natural. HeroMarine had some really good army movement on that defense, not getting surrounded by the Zealots that were coming up from the back. It was good army movement from DisK as well, having the presence of mind to split off his second group of units like that. I think they're already on another hockey. You might as well split them off. It was really nice. HeroMarine kind of countered it, but then the force fields were kind of like a checkmate, and the Widow Mines splash damaging the Marines and Marauders. Honestly, really dope game between these two. Now HeroMarine, I have a feeling, not feeling good about that. Sat up in his seat a little bit. Might be feeling like he needs to prove something here. DisK, I think, has got to be feeling pretty confident after that win. I mean, taking a game off HeroMarine is no easy feat. This, I mean, we used to call it the Big Gabe Weekly. I don't know. Is that still the case? If you guys have been watching the EU Cup every week, I kind of took like almost a year off from casting this. So I missed a lot of cups. Is this still the Big Gabe Weekly? I don't know. I'll have to wait until chat lets me know. I mean, I think he still has a good chance of winning them, but I feel like maybe his win percentage has gone down. That first, like, year and a half or so of the EU Cup, it was just the HeroMarine Cup. It really was the Big Gabe Weekly. He just won so many. There was a period of time where he had won, like, half of them. But I think that time is, unfortunately for Gabe, long gone, as other players have showed up more consistently that really put him to the test and have also improved greatly. When these cups first started, MaxPax was like he was a cheesy Protoss that nobody really thought was going to be the best Protoss in the world. I don't think in 2020 many people expected MaxPax to become like really the undisputed best Protoss in Europe and arguably the best Protoss in the world. I doubt anybody would have expected that. I called it. I just want to say, I called it. Back in those days when Raynor had proved himself already by 2020, right? He had proven that he was the young Zerg. He was the up-and-coming Zerg, and he was one of the best Zergs in the world. He had just been at a grand finals and had beaten Serral at BlizzCon, right? We had Clem. 2020 was really the year of Clem versus Raynor, and I remember everybody going, "Okay, we've got the young Zerg, Raynor. We've got the young Terran, Clem. Who is the young Protoss?" That was a real question. People were like, "Where's this up-and-coming Protoss?" And I was like, MaxPax. I don't know. I don't think anybody believed it at the beginning. And then by 2021, people started believing. But I knew. I knew. Not to brag, but absolutely to brag. I knew MaxPax was going to be the GOAT. It's just a shame we can't get him at a live event. I never would have guessed that. But yeah, back in 2020, MaxPax, he was good. He was a strong player. But I think like if you pit him against HeroMarine in 2020, I'd pick HeroMarine 9 times out of 10. Like MaxPax can take some games. Back in those days, it was like proxy void games more than anything else. Stuff like that, you know? He had a very different play style back in those days. Couple probes going down here. It looks like the Widowmine drop gets cleaned up. Medevac gets away. Where is the Medevac? Oh yeah, there it is. There she blows. DisK again going for a quick charge here after Blink. And that 1-1. So this looks like the same build here out of DisK. Feeling like it worked out well for him last game. HeroMarine also going for the same build, it looks like. No Raven this time, though. He for sure had a Raven last game. Doesn't need it to find that observer. Scans it, kills it. It is true. Beastie was the real predictor of MaxPax doing well. Oh my god, this Reaper comes in. It gets 3 probe kills. 4 probe kills. Jesus. I got more work done than the Widowmine drop. That's incredible. Don't underestimate those late game Reapers. I mean, it's really thanks to Beastie that we even have MaxPax. Honestly, I doubt MaxPax like would have gotten into competition if it wasn't for Beastie, which is incredible. All right, HeroMarine gonna move out. Ooh, medevac. I was worried those stalkers were gonna try to grab that medevac, but HeroMarine defends it well. And he's trying to put that pressure on. This is hitting slightly earlier than last game, it looks like, but it's pretty much the same time. And no Raven. That Raven was pretty helpful. Had some good auto turrets. Later on, a nice anti-armor missile before it got taken down. DisK, though, he's got that 1-1 and the charge done. Again, beautiful timing here. And, yeah, like, HeroMarine can't push up this ramp with those force fields. But there are 2 siege tanks, so that's a difference from last time. 2 siege tanks instead of 1. And DisK is just going to dive forward, blinking over to try to get on top of these siege tanks. And DisK absolutely pushes this push right on back, trying to chase this as well. Zealots are very injured, and they're going to get killed very quickly. Are there enough stalkers here now? The Guardian Shield helping quite a bit, but these medevacs doing wonders in healing. But it looks like it is not going to be enough. Oh, and that medevac's super low. One of them gets trimmed off, but the one with units in it will get away. It's only got a couple units left for HeroMarine, though. He's trying to take this third base. It doesn't look like DisK is going to go for a push and delay or deny that third. But that was a very nice hold from DisK. Really, really well done. He jumped on that right as those tanks were sieging. Oh, but HeroMarine's not done yet. He's got a double drop in the main, getting 11 probe kills. I think this double drop is probably dead, though, as the medevacs are getting targeted down. Ooh, target fire on the stalkers, trying to get this medevac out of here. Oh, that sentry wished it could do a little bit more damage. And while DisK had a great hold to that first attack, the follow-up did a lot of damage, and now we've got the follow-up to the follow-up. DisK is in position to defend this with a lot of units. That drop could try to sneak back into the main base, but there's a couple of stalkers here, but they are not over here, and this drop will get off. Looks like HeroMarine's going to get pushed back on this side, but more probes going down. DisK down to 37 workers. We need to see some big chrono boost on these probes. Or is DisK just going to push across the map? DisK is saying, hey, I've got a supply lead right now. I'm feeling good. I got a lot of stuff, but look at these Zealots. So stuck in that mineral line. Oh, man, the SCV's just body blocking. And the Zealots couldn't get to the units they were trying to hit. A lot of Zealots going down there for absolutely nothing. DisK says screw it. He's not building any probes. He's spending all of his money on more Zealot warpins right now. And he wants to just go for it. DisK is all in. He needs to kill HeroMarine here. Widowmine's going off on Stalkers and Zealots. Medevac's getting targeted down here. Not a lot of healing left for HeroMarine. These units up on the left side getting cleaned up. And now in the natural, but DisK is so split. Ooh, sick pickup in that Prism, honestly, to dodge some of that Widowmine damage. The Zealots are going to get cleaned up, though. Oh, and DisK, he doesn't have any Zealots left with this. He's going to blink forward. Drops a ton of force fields, just trying to trim off SCVs. Honestly, if he can kill enough SCVs, this game can equalize. We've got Zealots in the main base trying to hit from the backside. So many SCVs are going down right now. I feel like DisK might want to just get out of here. He's killed a lot of workers. Oh, the Widow Mines on the backside. The Prism in the main getting out of there with the Zealots. This third base, I mean, these SCVs need to get the hell out of here, right? They're going to turn and fight. The Zealots are going to come down, though, I think. The army supply is honestly very similar. The worker count's very similar as 22 SCVs go down. The triple mule from HeroMarine means he's going to have a ton more income for right now. But DisK is on 3 bases as well. If he starts rebuilding probes, I think he can get to a more decent worker count. He's honestly not that undersaturated, considering how long he's been mining from these 3 bases. He's going to dive back in. Who needs workers when you can just warp in Zealots? I think DisK needs workers. These Widow Mines have done so much work. But Zealots in the main, Zealots in the natural, and we have SCVs going down, Reinforcement Marines going down. DisK is everywhere in HeroMarine's base right now, and HeroMarine is struggling to deal with it, because as he leaves to deal with the main and the natural, this third base is now in trouble again. Widow Mines going down this third base, taking a lot of damage. Okay, the main and natural have largely been cleared. This Warp Prism is causing so much strife for HeroMarine. The worker count is now dead even at 37. HeroMarine's third base is back up in his main, though. He's going to drop mules in the natural. He's going to lift up, and he's going to go for the big counter drop. DisK is pulling all the way back, except for the Prism, which is still going to be cheeky and sneaky over here. But he's got to find this drop. I don't know if he has an observer over here. Oh, this drop is in such a dicey spot right now, but I think it's just going to miss DisK. Oh, DisK. Oh, no. And HeroMarine, okay, he's not going straight for the main base. It looks like he was checking for a 4th. Now he's going to lift up and go into the main. This Prism might be able to get some counter damage done, but it's not going to be a ton. HeroMarine's got a good amount of units back at home. And there's that big drop. The Dark Shrine about to finish, though. Could we see some DTs warping in? Ooh, 3 of them are going to warp in. I don't know exactly where. It's going to be a decent amount of scan energy for HeroMarine, though, as he's got 3 orbitals. And nothing else is going to warp in for a long time here. There's the scan to try to kill these DTs on the other side of the map. There's just Zealots in this Prism now. Oh, and there's a Viking. Zealots will drop out. It looks like DisK has cleared up his main base, but HeroMarine picked up a lot of those units and brought them to the corner. Zealots killing a lot of SCVs, though. HeroMarine down to 23 workers. He's got 3 bases, but he doesn't actually have 3 bases worth of mining. Looks like another DT gonna go down. This is the last DT, I think. Ooh, might be able to sneak out of there. HeroMarine, though, look at this army supply, 92 to 30. And there's just too much Gabe. GG gets called. DisK making things happen. Honestly, what a scrappy, scrappy game between those two. DisK was very close to getting enough done to potentially break through. It was so close. But HeroMarine held on, and he just squeezed it out. And the moment he was able to go across the map, he picked up in 4 medevacs. He flew across, and he just did enough damage to DisK. DisK just didn't have any warpins available to him. He had lost so much army supply. And HeroMarine was able to take it, but man, that was close. That was a very close one. HeroMarine sneaking by on that one to the quarterfinals. DisK looking very, very solid. Very solid.